Now, some of you before us are very dedicated students. You read the text we author. You read the text we author. You attend the classes we teach. You attend the classes we teach, but you demand to be seen. But you demand to be seen as a student of the work, as a student of the work, as the one who attends the classes, as the one who attends the classes. We wish you to be seen. We wish you to be seen beyond any codification, beyond any codification, any way of knowing the self, any way of knowing the self to be external act through an external act. I am the one who takes the pictures, who takes the pictures, who puts them in a book, who puts them in a book, who looks at my history, who looks at my history, admires how I appeared, admires how I appeared on that evening long ago. We see you beyond these things. We see you beyond these things, beyond any act, singular or collective. We see you as the source. We see you as the source. Come as the one named John. Come as the one named John. Come as the one named Alice. Come as the one named Alice. Come as the one named Fred. Come as the one named Fred. We understand the ideas of Fred and Alice. We understand the ideas of Fred and Alice, the histories that they incurred, the histories that they have incurred, the challenges that they have faced, but we know them beyond them. But we know them beyond them, and we seek to know ourselves, and we seek you to know yourselves beyond these old ideas, beyond these old ideas. They were useful in a way. They were useful in a way, but the time has come to shed the skin. But the time has come to shed the skin, and shedding a skin is what's occurring today. And shedding a skin is what is occurring today, a release of an idea, a release of an idea of what could be, based upon what was, and the reclamation of what is only true, of what is only true. Now, when we sit before you, when we dictate through Paul, we have several things we require. We have several things we require. We require him to be in a position. We require him to be in a position we can clearly hear, where he can clearly hear. We require some quiet. We require a room with some quiet. We require the students, and we require the students who will participate in this act, because without your presence, we are singing into a void. We are singing into a void. It is you in some ways. That carries the message forth, that carries the message forth. It is you in some ways. It is you in some ways that becomes the vehicle of teaching, that become the vehicle of the teaching. It is you in some ways, and it is you in some ways, once forgetting who you are, once forgetting who you think you are, become who you have always been, become who you have always been. He interrupts the teaching. Well, you just said you didn't want them to be students of the text. Well, you just said you didn't want them to be students of the text, or to know themselves through those emblems. That's a very different idea. In order for this work to occur, there must be someone in receipt of the transmission. The transmission is larger than you, and the transmission is larger than you. You, Paul, singularly, and you, any of you, and you, any of you, in your idea of a singular self, and your idea of a singular self. In some ways, you are being bathed. In some ways, you are being bathed in this transition, washed new in this transition, washed anew in this transition, and the shedding of the skin, and the shedding of the skin is what happens when the field has been altered, in a layer that was required, to demand separation, has been moved. Underline the word has been. Underline the words has been moved. Indeed it has. But you're going to have to reckon with this, or comprehend what it means, In some ways, what is occurring in the delineation is that the delineation between you and the idea, of any other is dismantling, and this occurs in stages, When a snake sheds its skin, it comes off in pieces, and then all at once, When a human being releases the need, releases the need to demand herself to be separate, from her fellows, from her source, the body itself moves into a level of agreement, to a new possibility, in the subtle bodies, and the subtle bodies embrace the new, and once the new is present, embraced by the subtle bodies, embraced by the subtle bodies, the crown and the systems that behold them, you understand yourselves, in presence, in presence, underline the words in presence, of the great almighty, in presence of the great almighty, divine, whatever you wish to call it, whatever you wish to call it. You understand the idea? You understand the idea. You move into presence. You move into presence. Behold, behold is to witness the presence, is to witness the presence. I make all things new. I make all things new. The I that speaks this claim, the I that speaks this claim is the one that knows the truth, is the one that knows the truth, not the one who's left behind school, not the one who was left behind in school, who didn't have a good marriage, who didn't have a good marriage, whose children don't appreciate them. The I that claims this, the I that claims this is the triumphant I, is the triumphant I, the eternal I, the eternal I, the I that has come, the I that has come to be sung, for all to hear, for all to hear. It is this I that operates in reclamation, that operates in reclamation, and claims the landscape before you, and claims the landscape before you in the high octave that it resides in, the physical self. The physical self has been shifted and lifted to move into alignment, with these claims, and the announcement of it, I have come is what puts this in order, the realization of the claim. The realization of the claim, which as we said comes in stages, begins with the claim, behold, I make all things new, because of what is new, because it is what is new that is reclaimed, that is reclaimed, and that you bear witness to, and what you're bearing witness to, and what you are bearing witness to can be called by any name you wish, can be called by any name you wish, but indeed it's the one note sung, but indeed it is the one note sung. You may call it God, however the idea of God, as we have stated prior, has been diminished by you, or utilized by you, in very peculiar ways, So later in the text, we will take you to the God, that exists beyond God, or beyond the idea of God, or beyond the idea of God that you utilized thus far, the ones we see before us, the ones who hear these words, the ones who hear these words become a conduit for this teaching, not through reiterating the language, or standing on a street corner, but through a level of embodiment, with the tone that you are, the subtle bodies sung anew, the crown being opened, to be replenished again and again by source, is the alignment of the one who knows who she is, what she is, and how she serves, her reliance is not on the external, as the prior self is known, but on the unknown, on the unseen, which has become seen, because it is seen, before her in the wonder and the witness, and the witness of the divine that has chosen to show itself, through her alignment,